Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart follows the life of Okonkwo, a respected leader in the Igbo village of Umuofia. Determined to be strong and successful, Okonkwo rejects anything he sees as weak, including the ways of his father. His rigid nature leads to conflict when he accidentally kills a clansman and is exiled for 7 years. During his exile, European missionaries and colonial rulers arrive in Umuofia, bringing new religious and political systems that challenge Igbo traditions. When Okonkwo returns, he finds his village divided. In a final act of resistance, he kills a colonial messenger, but realizes that his people will not fight back. Facing defeat, he takes his own life, marking the collapse of both his world and traditional Igbo society. Things Fall Apart is a novel about cultural change, personal struggle, and the effects of colonialism. Achebe presents a detailed and realistic view of pre-colonial Igbo life, showing both its strengths and flaws. The novel does not idealize Igbo culture, but portrays it as a complex society with deep traditions. At the same time, Achebe critiques the destructive impact of European colonization, which disrupts local customs and weakens communal bonds. Through Okonkwo's tragic downfall, the novel explores how resistance to change can lead to destruction. Written in a straightforward but poetic style, Things Fall Apart remains one of the most important African novels, giving voice to a history often told from a Western perspective. A major theme in the novel is the tension between tradition and change. Okonkwo represents the old ways, valuing strength, masculinity, and strict adherence to Igbo customs. However, his world is challenged by the arrival of the Europeans, who introduce Christianity and new political systems. Some members of the village, like Nwoye, embrace the new beliefs, while others struggle to hold on to their traditions. Achebe shows that change is inevitable, but the way a society adapts to it determines its survival. Okonkwo is obsessed with proving his masculinity, believing that any sign of emotional weakness is shameful. He rejects anything that reminds him of his father, who was considered lazy and unsuccessful. His fear of weakness drives him to act harshly, including beating his family and taking part in the killing of his adopted son, Ikemefuna. Achebe critiques this narrow view of masculinity, showing how Okonkwo's inability to express vulnerability isolates him and contributes to his downfall. The arrival of European missionaries and colonial authorities changes Igbo society forever. At first, the new religion seems harmless, but it soon begins to divide families and weaken traditional leadership. The colonial government enforces its rules, replacing Igbo justice with foreign laws. Okonkwo's final act of resistance is powerless against the larger forces at play. Achebe presents colonialism not as a simple clash between good and evil, but as a force that disrupts and reshapes communities in complex ways. Okonkwo is a proud and determined man whose fear of failure leads to his downfall. He is both a strong leader and a tragic figure, unable to adapt to a changing world. Nwoye, his son, is sensitive and thoughtful, but struggles under his father's expectations. He ultimately finds comfort in Christianity, representing the younger generation's shift away from tradition. Ikemefuna, a boy given to Umuofia as a peace settlement, is like a son to Okonkwo, but is tragically killed as part of Igbo customs. Obierika, Okonkwo's close friend, is more reflective and questions some of their society's traditions, offering a contrast to Okonkwo's rigid mindset. The missionaries and colonial leaders, particularly Mr. Brown and Reverend Smith, represent different approaches to colonialism, one attempting peaceful coexistence, the other enforcing strict control. Through these characters, Things Fall Apart explores the personal and cultural struggles brought on by change.